Sir, our first question is explain in words what is IoT and how does it work and what is the need of the IoT in today's scenario.
Okay, the Internet of Things is something which is similar to the internet we have. Uh, First wave of the internet, we had fixed devices. I mean, there were desktop, they were connected through wires to the internet. Then there was a second wave where we have the mobile devices. For example, you have the smartphone. So we moved from the fixed wired network to the mobile network. So that was the smartphones. And now we are heading towards a third wave of internet where things will be connected to. Previous one, our interaction with the internet was active. I mean, you open your browsers, you open your chat, you give some query. It was an active interaction. Now the world is moving towards a passive interaction. And now the connected things are not only the computers, but the things. I give you an example. So it means maybe your toothbrush is connected to the internet and it would be sending the data. And maybe then your mother would be saying, oh, Suresh, you are not putting good power at your rightmost teeth. It is not. So it means the forces. So this would be, so the things would send the data. They would be connected to each other. Your car would be sending its diagnostic over the internet. That would be going to the manufacturer. It would be analyzing. Perhaps you would be told, oh, you need to change the oil beforehand, or there is going to be something. So preemptive maintenance. So the things, so the main difference between the internet, which is prevalent, is that in Internet of Things, the things will be, and the things which would be everyday things. As I said, the example of your, maybe your eyeglasses, maybe your toothbrush, maybe your comb. And so it's in that direction the world is moving. And at the moment, the things connected to the internet has crossed the number of people on the earth. So we are already seeing a lot. Your Fitbit, you see your Fitbit, which gives you the information, how many steps you have taken, these things. So it's connected to data. And maybe you have the other things which are related to it. For example, if you are a cyclist and how much you, so there may be a thing giving that information of the cycles, your calories burned. So, and then there would be some algorithm which will compare the calories which you run and your health and due to the use of your bicycle together. So I hope you understand that we are moving from the active interaction to a passive interaction. What mean by passive interaction? I said previous interaction was active. You had to open a browser, you had to send a query. And now the passive interaction would be your Fitbit would be sending the data. You would be not knowing it. It's a passive interaction. How many steps you are taking. So this is a main difference from the active to the passive. And from processing machines, which were very intelligent, to the things which are perhaps not that computational intensive, but even then they are important. Yeah, that's Internet of Things is. So I gave you what the Internet of Things is. Your second question was how it does work. You have now some idea. So there would be first stage would be some sensors. I would love to take the example of your toothbrush. Maybe it's good. So there would be something like a pressure sensors in your toothbrush, and it would see how much. And even there are another example. If you see, there are smart rackets, tennis rackets. So it gives you how much spin you are giving, how much force you are applying on the racket. So there has to be a sensor. Those sensors will be connected to a small platform. The small platform is something like a basic processing platform. That is, we have Arduinos, we have other small microcontrollers which are connected to, and then there is a communication link. The communication device may be over a Wi-Fi, or there are some other wide area, low power wide area networks like a LoRa, Sigfox, NB-IoT. So these are some other devices, and also using the cellular network, NB-IoT. And then it will go to a platform, and the platform would take a decision. So maybe the platform takes a role of your mother and tells, oh, your rightmost tooth is not being cleaned very well. You get an email. So this is how the IoT will work. So if you have understood, let me summarize it. First of all, it's a sensor. The sensor is connected to a small processing platform, a very small, like a microcontroller, and then it would be connected over a communication link. So it has to be sent over a communication link. That is maybe a Wi-Fi if you are in a home, maybe a cellular over, or maybe the other new technologies like LoRa, which is coming. And then it will go to a basic cloud platform where they would analyze the data and maybe then raise an alert. So these are the components, 5 components. Yeah.
Sir, what risks are the businesses mostly confronted with?
Yeah, it has IoT has a lot of potential in financial. So therefore, if you look at, just Google it, you would know all major companies are into IoT business, and they are coming up with more, because it's a time where due to the miniaturization of the sensors, due to the availability of communication technologies, it is possible to do. So the concept is, at the moment we are able to do these things, the people or the companies have been thinking about it for years now, but now there are the, I would say, bricks available to do that. So to, to construct or to make this building. Okay. So there is a rush to reduce the time to market, because if you have to uh, if you have to take over the market, you should be very quick, and then brings the challenges. But the challenges are like security, like the privacy, because you are using the sensors or that platform, the small platform to which you have connected the devices. um, they are not very processing intensive. They are very basic. And then to run complex encryption algorithm would not be possible. Then the problem is of the power and energy. Those devices, you want a very less power and energy to be consumed. You do not want, for example, let's take an example of an agriculture farm, maybe over many square kilometers, and you have put some type of a sensor like a soil or the moisture sensor, so you know when it, so that would that would result in a better crop. So but you do not want that, like your mobile, every second day you have to charge those batteries or to replace that battery. So it means you would like that those power or the energy consumption should be as minimal as possible. And that's a problem, because different algorithm like a encryption, they are power hungry. You make complex. And so this is a dichotomy. You want to, on the one side, you want to have something which should not use a lot of energy. And secondly, you want to have an encryption. So these are privacy. And the problem is, this is your private data. I mean, if it is the health data, so it is something very important for an individual. You do not want that once you apply for your next job, they say, oh, you are very good, you are very potential. But we have your health data. You appears to be having a blood pressure problem. Oh, that's something which you would not like. So you understand, these are the challenges. And these are the challenges like a privacy and security, which has to be somehow uh, solved. Otherwise, the people will not have that, um, I would say, confidence, and there would be a reluctant to use IoT devices. So businesses have to do that. Businesses have seen that there is a lot of potential, and at the moment, they are more in a rush to bring the product to the market instead of looking at these. And the other problem which I see is a lack of legislation, because the legal framework is not at placed. And then the problem is the data, it it go over the boundaries, over the physical boundaries. So which country is legal? So you will have to have a, what maybe something which is legal in one country is not that permissible in the other countries. We see presently the European Union's rules of privacy and security are different than United States rules of so legal aspects are also there. So IoT uh, do have considerable challenges which have to be worked upon. And the businesses presently, if they don't look into it, they would lead into problem. There would be legal suits. There would be some type of other problems. Yeah.
Sir, next question is what security system or methods do the businesses have to make sure the system is secure?
As I said, presently it's an area which is of active research, and if you see a lot of publications going on in this area of the security and privacy of Internet of Things, there are real challenges, and the framework is not there. The security and privacy framework is not there. The legal aspects are not covered. In fact, coming to the legal aspect, the problem is um, normally the legislation is a reactive thing. Normally, technology pace is much faster than the legal fraternity, how they are doing. And so, and that's a problem. You see, even here, you saw the Facebook and, owner or Mark Zuckerberg, he was called to the, and he was questioned. Why? Because there was no legal framework and the pace of technology was so fast that legislation was much behind that. So that's a problem. That's a problem. So security, I think businesses have to be cognizant of the fact that they have to look into this security aspect instead of just rushing to a product to the market. Unless they do not know, they would lose their credibility if they don't consider it. Presently, it is like this. So the businesses are more concerned about taking their pie, market share, and presently not very concerned. And the second thing is the challenges are also not that easy. So they have to invest in that. Yeah.
Sir,
I have a question. So, is there any system or any method that they use? For example, maybe they hire like software engineering, like to code or the kind of stuff like to prevent like hackers, especially hackers, because I feel like hacker is like the biggest challenge for them because once they go into the system and then they can just steal every kind of like data or
Barbara, it's a good question, but you understand that our experience, if you look at the
yeah.
news and every look at um, just, yeah. So if you look at even in the internet where there are a lot of processing power available, we see the hackers are able to um, enter into even more secured system. And now we are going for a new wave. As I said, it's a third wave of the Internet of Things. The both paradigms are totally different. You cannot apply the same methodology, same mechanism on the Internet of Things as the example I told you, the encryption algorithm. Once you have a lot of power, you can make a complex, you can use a very complex encryption algorithm to secure, to look for, to ensure the security or the privacy of the data. That's not possible in IoT. That's not possible. You do not have that much energy. You do not have that processing power. You are using not a microprocessor. You are just using a microcontroller, which is not that. And you do, if you move toward that, your devices will become very expensive. And let's take an example. If you're talking about putting a soil moisture sensor, you will put thousands, rather millions in a agricultural farm. So if you even change a, a price, so it would not be possible. So so as I said, the problem is this, that our learning has to change. We would have to learn, and that would come with the time. We normally are reactive once we would know, oh, this is a problem. So the technology is quite ahead. Yeah.
Sir, for the last question of the podcast, uh, what are some of the positive and negative social impacts that IoT can have on the society?
That's a very interesting question, and I would love to answer this, because as a technologist, sometimes the technologists who are working on a technology, they forget about the social impact. And this is a very important aspect which the technologist must not overlook. Um, if you see, um, IoT would be able to make our lives easy. It would give us, as I said, it would give you, for example, a pre-warning maybe about your health, because it has data from your health for the last 1 year. And not only your health data, it will have perhaps at the cloud data of millions of the people, because so they would be able to compare and tell you, oh, you should. So this is something which is very good, but there is a danger, and there is quite a danger, that dependence on the technology would perhaps impact human agency, how you make the decisions, how you make. We are already seeing it. For example, let's say somebody out of you say, oh, I like that boy or the girl, I have some liking for her or him. And then the data says, we have a data for maybe 1,000 couples, and we think this person is not good for you. So you are giving your agency to that algorithm. We already see some with the Google map. Sometimes the people are able to reach the places where they were not supposed to. They made a mistake, and they maybe had a wrong suburb with the same street number. And they had, oh, this is only 10 minutes away from my place, but I am driving for the last 25 minutes. But they are more dependent upon the technology. So I suppose that's also something very to see. The social impact would be that a lot of dependence on technology and doubting your own self. And then one more thing, why we depend on the technology? Because we think that technology doesn't make an error. And how do human learn? I learn mostly the things for the mistakes I made. So we learn from the mistakes. And so I would say mistakes are good. So mistakes are good because they teach you something. So saying that you will not commit, and so I think this is going to have a very social impact. I am a technologist. I'm not from a psychology background, but I do understand that this would affect human agency.
Thank you so much, sir. Uh,
Thank you so much. Wow, it's we are in time. Well, on time, I mean.
Yeah,
11:30. Good.
yeah.
Thank you, Professor.
Okay, you are
Really
help.
good. Yeah, interview.
Yeah, okay, thank you. You are welcome. Have
Thank
a good day.
you.